Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Absolutely. Always ready to go deep.
Awesome. So, today we're tackling something that I think a lot of people have heard of, but might not fully grasp, brand equity.
Yeah, it definitely seems kind of buzzy, right? Like a business school term.
Totally.
Like,
Like something you'd see on a fancy PowerPoint slide.
exactly. But it's actually super relevant to like everyone, not just CEOs and marketing gurus.
That's why we're diving in. And you actually sent us this excerpt that I thought was a perfect starting point.
Okay, let's hear it.
All right, so it says, brand equity is the value of a brand from the consumer's perspective. Short and sweet, right?
Yeah, super concise. But like, what does that actually mean for us in the real world? Like, how does that translate to our everyday lives?
Right. Like, I get that brands have value, but is it really just about how much money they're worth?
That's part of it for sure. But brand equity is way more than just, the financial side.
It's like the secret sauce, right?
Yeah, totally. It's about how we, the consumers, see and feel about a brand. And that goes way beyond just recognizing a logo or knowing their tagline.
Okay, so let's unpack this. The excerpt mentions value from the consumer's perspective. Help me out here. What exactly are we valuing?
Think about it this way. Why do you choose one brand over another, even if they offer similar products or services?
That's a good question. I guess sometimes it's habit, like I always buy this one type of coffee.
There you go. That's brand loyalty, a key part of brand equity. You stick with what you know and trust, even if there might be cheaper or newer options out there.
Makes sense. But it's not just about loyalty, right? Like, there are some brands I'm drawn to because they just feel cooler.
Absolutely. That's the emotional connection piece. Strong brands tap into our feelings and aspirations. They make us feel like we belong, or they reflect values we identify with.
You know, like when I was a kid, I begged my parents for those sneakers with the little swoosh. Everyone at school had them, and I just felt like I needed them to fit in.
See, that's brand equity in action. You aren't just buying shoes, you are buying into a feeling, a sense of belonging. And that, my friend, is powerful stuff.
So how do brands actually build this equity? Is it like a magic formula?
Well, there's no one-size-fits-all recipe, but the excerpt did point out some key ingredients.
Okay, hit me.
First up, brand recognition. Think about the most iconic brands out there. They have logos, colors, and even jingles that we instantly recognize.
Like the Golden Arches, or that apple with a bite taken out of it.
Bingo.
Hmm.
Those visual cues are everywhere, and over time they become ingrained in our minds. We see them and immediately know, oh, that's McDonald's or that's Apple.
And I bet that consistency plays a big role in building trust too, right?
Absolutely. Seeing those familiar elements over and over again reinforces our sense of what the brand stands for. It builds familiarity and hopefully positive associations. That's where customer loyalty comes in.
Right, like my coffee example.
Hmm.
I trust that brand to deliver a consistent experience every time.
Exactly. Loyal customers are repeat customers, and they're more likely to recommend the brand to others, which fuels even more growth.
So we've got recognition and loyalty. What about the last factor, perceived quality?
Ah, that's a big one. Perceived quality goes beyond just the actual quality of the product or service itself.
Okay, explain that one to me. It sounds kind of, well, subjective.
It totally is. It's all about how we perceive the quality, which can be influenced by a whole bunch of things, from the brand's reputation to their marketing messages to even the packaging.
So even if two products are objectively similar, the one with stronger brand equity might be seen as better.
Exactly. Think about designer handbags. The materials and craftsmanship might be top-notch, but a lot of the price tag comes from the brand name, the prestige associated with it.
So it's like we're paying for the story, the image, the feeling.
You got it. And that brings us back to the idea that brand equity can allow companies to charge a premium for their products.
Now, this is where things get really interesting for me. Because as a consumer, I'm always trying to get the best value for my money.
Of course, and that's smart. But remember, value is subjective. Sometimes we're willing to pay more for the feeling of exclusivity, the sense of belonging, or the trust we have in a particular brand.
Like, I might be willing to splurge on that fancy coffee because it makes me feel like I'm treating myself, or because I align with their fair trade practices.
Exactly. And there are different models that try to break down how this all works. One popular one is Acres model, which looks at things like brand awareness, perceived quality, brand associations, and brand loyalty.
So it's all these different pieces working together to create this, like, aura around a brand.
Precisely. And that aura is what makes brand equity so valuable.
Right.
It can influence purchasing decisions, drive customer loyalty, and even make a brand more resilient during tough times.
Wow, so it's not just a fluffy marketing concept. It actually has real-world implications.
Totally. It can be a major asset for businesses.
Okay, so for our listeners out there who might be thinking, this is all well and good, but I don't run a Fortune 500 company. How does this apply to me?
Great question. Building brand equity is important no matter what you do, even if you're a freelancer, an artist, or just trying to build your personal brand online.
So what's the key takeaway?
Focus on being authentic, consistent, and providing real value. What makes you or your product unique? What do you stand for? Communicate that clearly and consistently across all your interactions.
And build genuine connections with your audience,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. People buy from people they trust. And trust is built through genuine interactions, transparent communication, and delivering on your promises.
Love that. So as we wrap up, here's a final thought for you all. Take a moment to think about the brands you personally value. Why are you drawn to them? What do they represent to you? Because understanding what makes those brands resonate with you can help you understand the power of brand equity in your own life.
Such a great point. And who knows, maybe it'll even inspire you to build something amazing yourself.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time.